Dracula. My story begins about 7 years ago. In 1875, my name is Jonathan Hacker, and I live and work in London. My job is to buy and sell houses for other people. One day, a letter arrived for me from a very rich man who lived in Pennsylvania. He wanted to buy a house in London, England, and he need my help. The man was Count Dracula, and I agreed to help him. I found a house for him, and he asked me to talk. Sorry, and he asked me to take all the papers for it to Transylvania. I was not very pleased about this. I was planning to get married in the autumn, and I did not want to leave my beautiful Mina. But you must to go, Jonathan, she said. The Count is rich, and perhaps he will give you more work later. So I agreed to go. I did not know then a terrible danger which waited for me in Pennsylvania. And so, on 4th May, I arrived at a little town called Beatrice. Pennsylvania was stranger and beautiful country. There were there were mountains, trees, and rivers everywhere. And somewhere high in the mountains was Count's home, Castle Dracula. I had 6 hours to wait before the coach came to take me there. So I went into a little hotel. Inside the hotel, it was warm and friendly. The people there was all laughing and talking. "Where are you going?" they said. They asked me. "To Castle Dracula," I replied. Suddenly, the room was silent, and everyone turned to look at me. I could not understand why they looked afraid. "Don't go there," someone said. "But I have to," I answered. "It's business." They began talk again, but no longer laughing. Slowly, the hotel keeper's wife took gold cross from her neck and put it into my hand. "Take this," she said. "There is Jan there is danger at Castle Dracula. Perhaps this will help you." When the coach arrived and I got into it, a crowd of people came to watch, and I hear the word, the word vampire. The coach traveled up into the mountains. Higher and higher it went, faster and faster. The sun was bright. Above were trees, was snow mountain tops. Suddenly, the sun went down behind the mountains, and everywhere was dark. In the forest around us, the wolves were howling. It was terrible sound. Suddenly, the coach stopped. A small carriage came down a narrow road on the right. Four black horses were pulling it, and the driver was dressed in black, with a black hat pulled out over his face. "Where's the Englishman?" he called. He called. "I've come from Castle Dracula." He looked strange, standing there in moonlight, and suddenly I was afraid, but I was too late. I could not back now. Soon we were on on our way to Castle Dracula. The mountains was all around us, and moon was black clouds. I could not see nothing, but I still hear the wolves, the horses faster and faster, and driver laughed wildly. Suddenly the carriage stopped. I opened the door and got out. At once the carriage drove away, and I was alone in front of the dark, silent castle. I stood there, looking up and looking up, looking up at it, and slowly the big wooden door opened. A tall man stood in front of me. His hair was white, and he was dressed in black from head to foot. "Come in, Mr. Harker." "I," he said, "am Count Dracula." He held out his hand, and I took it. It was cold as ice. I went into the castle, and the Count carefully locked the door behind me. He put the key into pocket and turned to go upstairs. I followed him, and we came a room where a wood fire burned brightly, and from the feet, from the feet, there was a table with food, drink on it. The Count asked me to sit down and eat, but he did not eat with me. Later, we sat and talked by fire. His English was very good, and while we talked, I had time to look at him carefully. His face was very white. His ears was like the ears of the cat. His his teeth was very strong, like the teeth of an animal. Okay, I come back. Unit 7. Cell phone messages.
Unit 7. Cell phone messages.
Cell phone messages. I need to check my messages.
How are you going to do that? We are in the middle of the freeway.
How are you going to do that? We are in the middle of the freeway. I'm going to use my cell phone.
Haven't you ever done that?
Have you ever done that?
I just use my cell phone to talk to other people.
No, I just use my cell phone to talk to other people.
Now you can also use cell phone
Now you can also use a cell phone to send and receive short text messages. It's very useful. How do you send a message that way? I just use the keys on the phone to type a short, short message.
On the phone to type a short message.
Short message. Then I send. Then I press. Then I press the send button. It's cheaper than making a phone call.
Then I press the send button. It's cheaper than making a phone call.
It's cheaper than making a phone call. That's a great idea. You can save time and money. You can save time and you can save time and money that way, right? All my friends are usually send me text messages now. Thanks for telling me about this. I'll 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 have to try it. I'll have to try it. Thanks for telling me about this. Thanks for telling me about this. You're welcome. I think you'll find it is useful. Useful.
All my friends send me text messages now.
Thanks for telling me about this. I'll have to try it.
You're welcome. I think you'll find it useful.
I think you'll find it useful. Unit 8. Bubbles in boiling water. Where do the bubbles come from when you boil water? Water is a liquid. When it is when it is when it when it is heated, it moves around faster and faster. When it starts to boil, the liquid turns into a gas. This gas is called water vapor. Water vapor. This gas is lighter than the water around it. It rises to the top, to the top, then it disappears into the air. As the water gets hotter and hotter, it starts turning into gas very quickly. A lot of bubbles form at the same time. All these bubbles try to escape at once. Bubbles push bubbles. The bubbles the bubbles the bubbles push the water out of the way and jump out. This is we this is what we call boiling water. More and more water turns into a gas. More of it more of it disappeared into the air. After a while, every drop of water will be gone, will be gone. Try it and see. The blue sky. Joe asked me something about science just now, but I didn't know the answer. I'm good at I'm good at I'm good at science. Ask me. Why is the sky blue? I'll explain it in a simple way. Light comes through the air from the sun in waves. The light is the light is in the light is in many colors, right? Right? Blue light are smaller than air molecules. They sometimes They sometimes get absorbed these they sometimes get absorbed by these molecules. What happens then? Then the blue light waves scatter in many directions. Your eyes see your eyes see this blue light from above you. After after it leaves the air molecules. So that is what makes the sky blue. What happens to the other colors? They reflect up things that they hit. Your shirt is your your shirt is red because I see the red light reflected from it. Now I understand why the sky is blue.
Practice some vocabulary, some advanced vocabulary with the word standards. These are words that go with the word standards, often used together. Talk about often used together. Talk about standards. What are your standards?
What are your standards?
High standards.
Do you
High
have
standards.
high
Do
standards?
you need to set your
Do you need
standards?
to set your
Set your
standards?
standards.
Set your standards.
First, establish.
Establish. We need to
We need to
establish some standards. Write them down. We need to draw up some stands. Draw up some stands. Be firm and lay down the stands. Stand. Lay down the standards. Let people know what the standards are. Lay the standards down. Some people have no standards. Some people have no standards. They need to set, establish, and draw up some standards. If they could only define some standards, clarify, clarify, specify, specific, specific standards, specify specific standards, stipulate, stipulate which standards are to be floated. Float. When those standards have been specified and stupid, stipulated, they can institute the standards so that other people can adopt the standards. Adopt. Everyone needs to employ the standards and put them into practice. Put into practice. Employ the standards and put them into practice. If they do that, they will achieve the standards. Comply with us. So they need to comply with the standards. So they need to live up to the standards and fulfill the standards. Live up to the standards and fulfill the standards. If you don't want to fall short of the standard, fall short of the standard, fall short
Slow down. You don't want to fall short of the standards.
fall short of the standard.
No one falls short like I'm falling short of the standards right now.
Keep going.
I'm falling short right in front of you. The goal is to maintain your standards.
The goal is to maintain your
Maintain my
standards.
standard. Fall below the standard.
If you fall below the standard,
Fall below the standard.
if you fall below standard,
Standards.
and you will need to work hard and meet the standards.
Don't try to change the standards.
Don't try to change the standards or modify the standards.
Change the standards. Standards easy. Relax the standards.
If you make the standards easy, you relax the standards.
But don't abolish the standards just because you can't
But don't abolish the standard just because you can't achieve them.
Don't get rid of the standards. Abolish the standards. Achieve them.
Just because you can achieve them, just try your best.
The standards.
Just try your best to comply with the standards.
Live up to fulfill the standards.
Live up to fulfill and meet.
Acceptable
Of course, you need acceptable standards.
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 You want adequate standards.
Adequate. Adequate.
So you want adequate standards.
You want adequate standards that descend.
You don't want acceptable standards that are
Inadequate.
inadequate.
You don't want unacceptable standards that they are inadequate. Unacceptable. What are your current prevailing prevailing standards? Prevailing standard. Hopefully, they are not inappropriate standard. What do you mean? Just following minimum standards is not enough. Limited standards are inefficient. 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 You need high performance standards in order to be that you can be.